Now, number 16. City manager employment agreements. So this is going to be, this is me. So we went through an extensive process following Steve Krager's departure from the city. And from all I hear, he's doing quite well. We had to replace that. It's a big decision to make, long process to go through, an expensive process to go through. We hired a executive search team or company who did a very thorough nationwide search trying to find an ideal candidate. We were all interviewed as to what same thing with our executive team, as to what we felt were important, indispensable qualities of our next leader for this city. We had over 70 applications come forward that were brought to us. The executive research team company, they narrowed it down to 11. We reviewed all those, and then some of the ones that weren't selected had a few questions about those based on their applications. We, as a council, got together. We narrowed that down to the top 5 candidates. Those top 5 candidates were invited to interview at the city, and once we did that, we got it down to the top 3. And then the top 3 were invited back again for another interview. In the morning, they had a round of interviews with our executive team, an opportunity to interview and ask questions of their potential future boss. And then in the afternoon, all 3 interviewed with us here in City Hall. Based on that, we had resumes, we have references, we have cover letters, we had everything you can think of pretty much involving these folks, so these applicants, and we even made them do a personality test, if you will. So we came together as a council, and based on all the traits, we did choose Mr. Michael Rock, who I believe is watching on one of these cameras right now. And he stood out to us for many reasons. Yeah, and yes, he's been around for 20 plus years. He's been in various positions, and what is common in the world of any type of employment, when you're at a higher level, you are going to have some bumps in the road. Believe me, from my experience in my previous life, you can't be a cop without coming out with getting sued or being accused of something, or you name it. And I got a few literal surgery scars to prove it too. You literally some battle scars. So those did come up. You may have read about those in the paper. We asked questions about that, thorough questions, in-depth questions. Those questions were resolved and answered to all of our satisfaction. And we're proud to have selected Mr. Rock to be our next leader of our city. I think our employees will be very happy with him once we get him as soft as landing as possible in his new role. He's moving up here from Southern California. But one of the many good things about Mr. Rock is he already has built-in ties to our community. And so that was a very positive trait that we one of the many that we pulled out of his application process. So with that, again, like we said before, we're looking forward to working with him, excited about what he brings to the table and the leadership he can provide. Given the transition in many of our departments and where our city is today, we're looking forward to working with it as a team. I want to give an opportunity for public comment. I do have one comment card from Mr. Mike Short, who is apparently very against this decision.
Please excuse me. I've just been officially diagnosed with essential tremors, and believe me, I don't need them, but I got them. I'm Mike Shore. I live at 2347 Oregon Way down at Shanghai Bend. I'm going to have to read this so I don't screw it up. I don't think much of this Kid Rock guy you're hiring for city manager. The Mrs. and I went to one of his concerts last year, and I don't think he's a good fit for the city at all. I'm finding it really hard to believe that out of the thousands of city managers running around this country, they're like flies, that he's the pick of the litter, especially with his very questionable pedigree. You guys continue to amaze me in all the very, very wrong ways. Thank you.
All right. Any votes from the public? All right. Bring it back to council.
Through the mayor. I'd like to make council's recommendation and adopt a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign the city manager employment agreement between the city of Yuba City and Michael Rock effective September 3rd, 2019. Adopt a resolution to authorize the finance director to amend the salary schedule for the city manager, and also adopt a supplemental appropriation of $10,000 to the fiscal year 2019-2020 adopted budget to account number 1305-62701 for city manager professional services.
All right.
Through the mayor,
Yes, sir.
before I second, I was going to offer a couple of comments. Maybe the other council members wanted to make a couple of comments as well in regards to our new potential city manager.
Go right ahead.
I concur with what you said earlier as far as vetting through the applicants, and to give you kind of the tone that we ask. It wasn't just simple questions of, where do you want to be, and you get the canned answer, and you always ask them, what do you hope to accomplish, and the canned answer is leave it better than it was when I started. They were good, thoughtful questions, and I'll give you a taste of what I asked them because I was one of the first ones out of the chute. They had already interviewed with us once. They had already turned around and met with staff. They've had time to research us and watch things. And my question was very simple. Why Yuba City? I wanted to see what he had to say. I wanted to see what all the candidates had to say. And I will tell you, I was impressed with what Mr. Rock had to say. And I know he's got the best interest of this city at heart. So with that, I will hold off on seconding in case any of the other council members would like to say anything in regards to this. And then I'll come back to second.
Through the mayor, the process to select a city manager was not only grueling for the city manager candidates, but it was grueling for us because as we represent all of you, hiring this person to represent the city, I take that, and I know that my colleagues do the same, take that very seriously. The city manager is a very important position, and I want to take a quick moment just again to thank our interim city manager for stepping in, Diana Langley, for what she has done because that's outside of her normal scope of work. And again, thank you. One more month. We're actually a little more than one more month, but and believe me, if she had been a candidate, she would have certainly garnered my support. But anyway, as to Mr. Rock, we did ask non-traditional questions. And I got great answers from Mr. Rock, and that led me to believe that he was the right person for our city. What also impressed me about Mr. Rock was he vetted us. Mm-hmm. He was one of the only candidates that had done his homework on this city, this council, this staff, and so he comes in not just not knowing anything. He knows a fair amount about us. So I thought that I think was very admirable as well. All in all, we'll see what happens when Mr. Rock gets here. I have high expectations. I think he will meet those expectations, and I'm enthusiastically looking forward to his arrival on September 3rd.
Thank you.
Through the mayor, Michael, if you're watching us, hello. Well, we'll see you soon. The interview process was well done by the executive team that we hired, and in that, it was a learning experience for myself as a new council member to really understand how that process worked. And I cannot thank our Diana Langley, our interim city manager, for her leadership, her demeanor, her strength, her courage, and her insights to really stay firm in helping us in all ways to decide on the right person. She stepped aside. She let us do that decision, but she helped us to make sure that we had everything that we needed to find the right candidate. And along that, with our HR department, the process was very well organized. As the questions, there was a background check. there's financial records check. There's a lot more to what you would consider any most, high-level individual. These individuals at the top had to go through quite a bit of a grueling process. But what came through with Michael was his real sense of commitment, his sense of understanding the role, and as Councilman Boomgarden said, he really did his work and insight about us. If a candidate says to you in the interview that I've watched, 6 to 8 hours of your meetings, how many of us, besides having to be here, have done that? That a person, I think when they're truly committed, they go more and beyond to that job. And so I see that in him, and I see a steadiness, a common sense effort, a clarity of who he is, and I believe that he will be a person that many will be able to sit down and have a conversation with him. And so I think with his overall, when you look at the overall package of his work and his history and his skill base and experience, he's a person that is going to do our city really well. And I hope that everyone welcomes him as he comes into our community. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Sir?
Before Mr. Shaw seconds, I'd just like to say, welcome Mr. Rock to the city of Yuba City.
Through the mayor, I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, opposed? None. Thank you very much. Moving on to, well, that was the end of a long process right there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
That wasn't that long.
No, the whole thing.
Oh.